have the same stance on queers as I do these gooners.
Is this anything pornographic? I would say no.
Yes, what you're doing is shameful. Yes, I think this stuff is shameful and I don't want it in my entertainment because it's shameful and it's hurting society.
I mean, dude,
have these people played Final Fantasy? The people complaining, have they played Final Fantasy at all?
Alright, gamers and thinkers, we need to have a conversation. Melanie Mac, content creator, anti-woke warrior, and let's be honest, someone whose opinions can hit like a sledgehammer at times, has been caught stirring the pot, so to speak. Recently, she went after the character designs of the First Descendant and called fans of the game degenerates. Now that's a strong claim. The question is it grounded in fairness or is it wandered into the realms of the puritanical territory? Stick around because I've got thoughts and I ain't pulling my punches. If you've been following Melanie Mac for a period of time, then you know that her platform is built on combating or fighting against woke culture, especially in gaming. And that's a stance that I've cheered on in the past. But lately, she's starting to sound familiar. Like, she's starting to sound like the very thing that she's been fighting against. You see, it's not just about critiquing games. It's about making sweeping moral judgments and at times applying double standards. Let's break this down and talk about specifics. Melanie Mac condemns the First Descendant for having character designs that are considered lewd or sexualized. And you know what? That's fair. She's entitled to that opinion, of course. But then she goes ahead and praises Stellar Blade, which, let's be real, is just as equally suggestive.
It's disgusting and it's perverted. No, I don't want it.
Because this, especially like some of the, I mean, Final Fantasy, we've seen outfits like this and even more revealing.
It's art. Do I think that people participating in these activities are losers? Yes. It's not even pornographic at all. I don't see the problem. But you know what? It doesn't mean you have to always be a loser.
So what's the difference? Is it about the art style, the narrative, or maybe just personal taste? Whatever the reason, it comes across as inconsistent. And when you're calling people degenerates for enjoying these games, that inconsistency matters. Let me give you guys a brief history of puritanical thinking and the epic backfires that usually ensue as a result. You see, this isn't the first time we've seen overzealousness lead to problems. For example, the Satanic Panic, Dungeons & Dragons. Back in the 1980s, Christians tried to ban Dungeons & Dragons because they claimed it promotes Satanism. And what happened? It became a cultural phenomenon and is now bigger than ever. Instead of avoiding evil, the overreaction drew more attention to it. The moral outrage turned it into a symbol of rebellion, and the game flourished for that. Harry Potter. In the 2000s, Christians burned Harry Potter books because they claimed it promotes witchcraft. Today, the books are celebrated for their themes of love and courage. And J.K. Rowling is rolling in money. That backlash didn't stop the magic. It just made people more curious and ensured the series became a mainstream success. And let's not forget Mortal Kombat. It was blamed for corrupting the youth, leading to the creation of the ESRB rating system. But did that stop the game? Not a chance. It's now become a staple in gaming history. The attempt to censor it gave it legendary status, and now it's a part of gaming's very own DNA. So what's my point? Banning or condemning something doesn't make it go away. If anything, it makes people more curious. Puritanical outrage often fuels the fire it's trying to extinguish. Now, here's where I personally think Melanie Mac's argument misses the mark. As Christians, we are called to live by our own convictions, but we're not called to impose them on everybody else. Romans 14 makes this very clear. If something causes you to stumble, avoid it. But that's a personal decision. It's not a universal mandate. There is wisdom in leading by example and not control. Create better alternatives. Support content that aligns with your values. And trust people to make their own choices. That's how you inspire change, not by playing the moral police. Now, let's pull up the receipts. In one tweet, Melanie tweeted, "I love Miranda's butt. I don't see a problem with that." Same with Nier Automata. 2P was made by a man who likes creating sexy women he's attracted to. Good for him. She's hot. In another post, she's ogling a fan-made Lara Croft model. Not sure what that thing was, but she says she's missing the classic Lara thick thighs and butt. We'll let it slide for now. I'd love to see a character model like this, all things considered. But wait, there's more. Responding to accusations of hypocrisy for buying Stellar Blade, a game with a protagonist some might consider provocative, she said, "I didn't realize you could play the game like a normal person, and that taking pervy screenshots in the most provocative outfits possible was how the game was supposed to be played. And here I was, actually interested in the gameplay as a cute character. Oh, silly me. I have been playing games wrong this whole time.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
So here's the thing, guys. No one is perfect, and everyone is entitled to a change of heart, or even have conflicting feelings when it comes to media. I get that. I've been there myself. There was a time when I wrestled on how to balance my Christian values with my love for gaming. But the key here is recognizing that we all have blind spots, myself included. It's normal to feel conflicted about things. But the answer isn't to lash out and impose blanket moral judgments on everybody else. It's to strive for clarity, humility, and grace. Melanie's critique about Gooner games isn't inherently wrong. Christians should critically think about the things that they consume. But when you make bold public statements about morality, you're inviting accountability for your own behavior. The tweets praising sexy character designs and expressing excitement for certain games feels inconsistent when compared with her stance now. That's not to say that she's irredeemable, far from it. But if we're going to call for accountability, it starts with ourselves. And the weird thing is, this is where it gets ironic. The arguments that Melanie is using, moral superiority, blanket judgments on others, shaming dissenters, are the very same tactics that the woke crowd is using to cancel the things that they don't like. I mean, what are we doing, man? She's become the mirror image of the things she claims to stand against.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Listen, let's pause for a moment. Christianity isn't about policing every single corner of society. It's about freedom in Christ. When we try to enforce a set of arbitrary standards on others, we undermine the freedom that we've been given. The Apostle Paul himself was a man of convictions, but he didn't try to control what others consumed or believed. He focused on how he lived his life, and here's the most important part, and let God work in the hearts of others. Imagine if the early church had spent its energy banning all the Roman influences they didn't like, Greek philosophy, pagan festivals, or even the gladiatorial games. Instead, they engaged with society, offered an alternative, and let people come to Christ through relationships, not through force. When we try to ban everything that we disagree with, we risk becoming irrelevant and stuck in a culture war that fuels only division. Now, let's talk about the dangers of moral outrage. We've all seen it. People get mad over every little thing, ready to cancel anyone that doesn't fit or doesn't align with their perfect value system or how they see the world. But the issue is, outrage doesn't create change. It creates walls. When you condemn people for enjoying something that you don't, you make them feel as if they need to hide it, which ironically strengthens their attachment to this thing that you disapprove of. This is the danger of puritanical thinking. You start to believe that your convictions are the only right ones, and anyone who doesn't follow them is lost or degenerate. But that mentality doesn't really help anyone. In fact, it drives people away from meaningful dialogue. So where do we go from here? If you're a Christian gamer or someone who's just tired of the culture war nonsense, here's my advice. Focus on what you can control. Live by your convictions, support what you value, and let the market decide the rest. In other words, play the things that you want to play and don't play the things that you don't want to play. That's simple. And to Melanie, if you're watching this, I respect your platform and your passion, but respect also means holding each other accountable. Let's have a real conversation about these issues because the gaming community and the Christians deserve better. Alright, that's my take. What's yours? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's keep this conversation going. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit me with that like button or with the backhand of that dislike button. And remember to share it with a friend. Subscribe for more thoughtful takes on faith and gaming and everything in between. Until next time, stay sharp, stay discerning, and keep gaming.